All right, let's talk. I want you to listen, and I mean really listen. When you think about our history, about the ancestors, what comes to mind? You probably think of struggle, of pain, of chains. And yes, that's part of the story, but that's not the whole story. Today, I want to talk about the power, the brilliance, the sheer genius of our people. They weren't just victims waiting for a savior. They were strategists. They were warriors. They were communicators who built a secret network right under the noses of their oppressors, using nothing but the air in their lungs and the spirit in their souls. So lean in, because class is in session. You see, music has always been our lifeline. It's in our DNA. Back in Africa, it was for ceremonies, for celebration, for storytelling. But on those plantations, it became something else entirely. It became a weapon, a tool for survival. When they stripped our people of their names, their languages, their families, they thought they had taken everything. But they couldn't take the music. The overseers, they heard songs of sorrow and faith. They heard what they wanted to hear, a broken people crying out to a Christian God. They were fools to think it was that simple. They never once suspected the truth. Those songs, those beautiful, haunting spirituals, were so much more than what they seemed. They were a secret language, a complex system of codes and signals hiding in plain sight. Think about that for a second. Imagine the courage it took to sing a message of escape while the man who owned you stood just feet away, tapping his foot to the rhythm. That's not just survival, that's defiance. That's a level of intelligence and boldness that history books often forget to mention. Our ancestors were playing chess while their captors were playing checkers, using melodies as their game board and lyrics as their moves. So when you hear those old spirituals now, I want you to hear them differently. Don't just hear the beautiful harmonies. Don't just hear the religious words. I want you to listen for the whispers between the notes. Hear the coded maps, the whispered plans, the shared hope. This wasn't just about singing to pass the time or to soothe a weary soul. This was about communication. It was about community. It was about creating a hidden world where they still had control, where they could plot and plan their freedom, one powerful coded song at a time. It was their own secret network. Let's get specific. How did this even work? It worked because our people were brilliant observers. They paid attention to everything. They used the Bible, a book forced on them, and flipped it on its head. They took the stories of Moses leading his people out of Egypt and made it their own story. Egypt wasn't some faraway land in the Middle East. It was the South. Pharaoh wasn't some ancient king. It was the slave master. And the Promised Land? That was the North. That was Canada. That was freedom. They built a whole new vocabulary right inside the old one. Every part of the song had a purpose. The tempo, the rhythm, even the way a note was held could mean something. A song sung fast might mean it was time to move, to get ready. A slow, mournful version could be a warning, signaling that danger was near or that plans had to be put on hold. These weren't just artistic choices. They were life or death instructions passed from person to person, field to field, plantation to plantation. It was a network that ran on melody, a telegraph system made of human voices, all working together to guide each other toward liberation. The lyrics were layered with double meanings. A song about a river wasn't just about water. Wade in the water was a literal instruction. It meant get to the river, walk in the water to throw the slave catcher's dogs off your scent. When they sang about crossing the River Jordan, they were talking about crossing the Ohio River into the free states of the North. It was a roadmap set to music, a guide for the Underground Railroad that you could carry in your head and your heart. No one could take it from you, and no one else could understand it. And it wasn't just about escape routes. These songs were also a way to share information. A new spiritual popping up in the fields could announce a secret meeting that night. Singing about the gospel train meant the Underground Railroad was active and coming through soon. It was a way to organize, to build solidarity, and to keep the flame of resistance burning. This was a sophisticated system, created by people who were underestimated and dismissed. They proved that even when you take everything from someone, you can never take their mind or their spirit. Let me give you some concrete examples so you understand the depth of this genius. Take a song everyone knows. Follow the Drinking Gourd. It sounds like a simple folk song, right? Wrong. The Drinking Gourd was the Big Dipper constellation. The song was a celestial map. It told escaping slaves to follow the Big Dipper, which points to the North Star. The North Star was their guide, their fixed point in the sky leading them to freedom. The lyrics even described landmarks along the way, like the Tombigbee River. It was a step-by-step guide to freedom, sung out loud in the cotton fields. Then you have Go Down Moses. On the surface, it's a biblical story. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land. Tell old Pharaoh to let my people go. But we already know who Pharaoh was. We know what Egypt's land was. This song was a direct demand for freedom. It was a protest anthem. But it was also used to signal the arrival of a conductor on the Underground Railroad, often Harriet Tubman herself, who was known by the codename Moses. When the enslaved heard this song, they knew their Moses was here to lead them out of bondage. Another powerful one is Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. The lyrics say, "Swing low, sweet chariot, comin' for to carry me home." The chariot was the Underground Railroad. Home wasn't heaven in the afterlife. It was a life of freedom in the North. This song was often sung to signal that it was time to escape, that help was nearby. It was a song of hope and imminent action. The beauty of it was its camouflage. To the master, it was just a song about wanting to go to heaven. To the enslaved, it was a coded message that the chariot to freedom was waiting. And what about Steal Away? The lyrics are, steal away, steal away, steal away to Jesus. This wasn't about a quiet prayer. It was a call for a secret meeting, usually at night, to worship freely or to plan an escape. The thunder mentioned in the song might refer to a real storm, providing cover for their movements, or it might just be the rumbling of their own defiant hearts. Each song was a key, unlocking a hidden layer of meaning that was essential for survival and resistance. This was rebellion wrapped in reverence, a revolution hidden in a hymn. So what does all this tell you? It tells you that our ancestors were not passive. They were active agents in their own liberation. They were strategists, cryptographers, and rebels who fought back with the tools they had. They used their creativity and intelligence to build a system that their captors were too arrogant to ever understand. It's a story of incredible courage. Singing these songs was a risk. Getting caught meant a brutal punishment, or worse. But they did it anyway. They sang for themselves, for each other, for the future generations they prayed would one day be free. This secret language of spirituals is a testament to the unity of our people. This system only worked because they trusted each other. It required a deep bond, a shared understanding, and an unbreakable commitment to one another's freedom. One person's voice would start a song, and another would pick it up, passing the message along. It was a collective effort, a symphony of resistance played by an orchestra of the oppressed. They were a community bound not by chains, but by the secret chords of freedom they shared with one another in the dark of night. This is the history they don't always put in the textbooks. They'll tell you about the laws and the battles, but they often leave out the stories of our people's ingenuity. They leave out the brilliance. They leave out the heart. The spirituals are proof that our ancestors never lost their humanity. They loved, they hoped, they dreamed, and they fought. They carved out a space for their own culture, their own communication, and their own power right in the belly of the beast. That is a legacy worth shouting about from the rooftops. So I'm telling you this story tonight to remind you of the strength that runs in your veins. This is your heritage. This is your power. Don't ever let anyone tell you our story is only about suffering. It's a story of triumph, of intellect, and of unbreakable spirit. This is just one story. There are thousands more, thousands of tales of our people's greatness waiting to be told. So my question to you is, are you ready to listen? Are you ready to learn? Because I've got a lot more to say, and you need to hear it. Enjoyed this story? Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more factual stories from our rich history.